Have you ever found yourself in a conversation where the words just seem to dry up? It can be an uncomfortable situation, especially if you're trying to make a good impression or connect with someone. But fear not, because there are ways to ensure that you never run out of things to say and keep a conversation flowing smoothly. One of the key strategies is to be an active listener. Instead of just waiting for your turn to speak, truly engage with what the other person is saying. Pay attention to their words, their body language, and their tone of voice. This will not only show that you are interested in what they have to say, but it will also give you valuable information to build upon in the conversation. Another technique is to ask open-ended questions. These are questions that cannot be answered with a simple yes or no, but instead require the person to provide more detailed responses. By asking open-ended questions, you are encouraging the other person to share more about themselves and their experiences, which can lead to a more meaningful conversation. Additionally, it can be helpful to have a few conversation starters up your sleeve. These can be general topics that are easy to discuss and can be adapted to fit any situation. For example, you could ask about their favorite hobbies, recent travels, or even their thoughts on a current event. By having these conversation starters ready, you'll never be at a loss for words. Furthermore, don't be afraid to share a bit about yourself. Opening up and sharing personal stories or experiences can help to create a sense of connection and trust with the other person. However, it's important to strike a balance and not dominate the conversation with your own stories. Remember, a conversation is a two-way street. In addition to these strategies, it's important to be aware of your body language and nonverbal cues. Maintain eye contact, nod your head to show that you're listening, and use appropriate facial expressions to convey your interest and understanding. These nonverbal cues can go a long way in keeping the conversation flowing smoothly. Lastly, be present in the moment. Put away distractions such as your phone or other devices and give the person your full attention. By being fully present, you'll be able to pick up on cues and opportunities to keep the conversation going. The key to maintaining a flowing conversation is to embrace silence. Silence can be uncomfortable, but it can also be a powerful tool in communication. It allows both parties to process information and collect their thoughts. Instead of filling every gap with words, take a moment to reflect on what has been said before responding. This not only shows that you are actively listening, but it also gives you the opportunity to come up with a thoughtful and insightful response. Another technique to keep a conversation going is to use humor. Injecting a well-placed joke or a light-hearted comment can instantly lighten the mood and create a more relaxed atmosphere. It's important to gauge the other person's reaction and adjust your humor accordingly. By sharing a laugh, you're building a positive connection and making the conversation more enjoyable for both parties. Furthermore, it can be beneficial to steer the conversation towards shared interests. Find common ground and explore topics that both you and the other person are passionate about. This not only keeps the conversation engaging, but it also fosters a sense of connection and camaraderie. Additionally, active body language can enhance communication. Leaning in slightly, mirroring the other person's gestures, and using hand gestures to emphasize certain points can all contribute to a more engaging conversation. Paying attention to your own body language and making sure it aligns with the message you want to convey can also help in conveying your thoughts effectively. Lastly, be mindful of the pace of the conversation. Sometimes it's necessary to slow down and allow for deeper discussions on certain topics. Other times, it may be appropriate to pick up the pace and move on to new subjects. Being aware of the flow of the conversation and adapting accordingly can keep it interesting and prevent it from becoming stagnant. One important aspect to consider in keeping a conversation flowing is the use of active listening techniques. When actively listening, it's crucial to not only focus on the words being spoken, but also to pay attention to the speaker's emotions and underlying messages. This can be achieved by using empathetic responses, such as paraphrasing or summarizing what the other person has said, to show that you truly understand and value their perspective. Engaging in active listening not only fosters a deeper connection between both parties, but it also encourages the speaker to open up and share more, leading to a more dynamic and meaningful conversation. Another important aspect to consider in keeping a conversation flowing is the power of active listening. By actively listening, you not only demonstrate respect and empathy towards the speaker, but you also gain a deeper understanding of their perspective. This can be achieved by maintaining eye contact, nodding in agreement or understanding, and using verbal cues such as, "I see," or "That's interesting." Moreover, reflecting on the speaker's words and paraphrasing their ideas back to them can show that you are truly engaged in the conversation. By actively listening, you create a safe and supportive environment that encourages the speaker to open up and share more. Furthermore, it's crucial to be aware of the cultural context in which the conversation takes place. Different cultures may have varying communication styles, body language cues, and conversational norms. By being mindful of cultural differences and adapting your communication style accordingly, you can foster a more inclusive and respectful conversation. Additionally, being open to learning about different cultures can add richness and diversity to your conversations. In addition to active listening, incorporating storytelling into the conversation can also provide a wealth of engaging content. Storytelling allows you to share personal experiences, anecdotes, or relevant stories that can captivate the listener's attention. By painting a vivid picture with your words and injecting emotions into your storytelling, you can create a memorable and enjoyable conversation. Moreover, incorporating thought-provoking and intellectual topics into the conversation can help stimulate deeper discussions. This could involve discussing current events, philosophical concepts, or even exploring hypothetical scenarios. By challenging each other's perspectives and engaging in intellectual discourse, the conversation becomes more intellectually stimulating and enriching. Another technique to keep the conversation flowing smoothly is to acknowledge and validate the speaker's thoughts and feelings. By expressing genuine interest and understanding, you create a supportive atmosphere that encourages the speaker to express themselves freely. This can be achieved through phrases such as, "I can understand why you feel that way," or "That sounds like a challenging situation." By showing empathy and validation, you foster a deeper connection and trust within the conversation. Lastly, it's important to be aware of the power dynamics within a conversation. Ensure that the conversation is balanced and that each participant has an equal opportunity to speak and be heard. Avoid interrupting or dominating the conversation, and instead, create space for others to share their thoughts and ideas. By fostering an inclusive and respectful environment, you encourage open and genuine dialogue. Moreover, injecting personal anecdotes and experiences into the conversation can add a unique and personal touch. Sharing stories that are relevant to the topic at hand can not only provide entertainment value, but also create a connection between you and the other person. By sharing your own experiences, you are showing vulnerability and authenticity, which can encourage the other person to do the same. This exchange of personal stories can lead to a deeper level of understanding and empathy within the conversation. Additionally, it can provide valuable insights and perspectives that may not have been considered before. Additionally, using active listening techniques, such as reflecting and validating the speaker's emotions, can facilitate a more open and honest conversation. Reflecting involves restating what the person has said to ensure that you have understood their message correctly. Validating involves acknowledging and accepting their emotions without judgment. By using these techniques, you create a safe space for the other person to express themselves fully, which can lead to a more meaningful and fulfilling conversation. Furthermore, bringing up thought-provoking or controversial topics can spark a lively and engaging conversation. These topics can range from politics and religion to ethics and social issues. However, it's important to approach these subjects with sensitivity and respect. By respectfully sharing different perspectives and encouraging open dialogue, you can create a space for intellectual growth and understanding. This type of conversation can challenge assumptions, expand knowledge, and deepen connections. Another effective technique is to practice active listening by summarizing and clarifying the speaker's main points. To maintain a flowing conversation, actively listen, ask open-ended questions, use conversation starters, share about yourself, and be mindful of body language. Embrace silence, use humor, find shared interests, and use active body language. Adjust the pace, practice active listening, consider cultural context, incorporate storytelling, discuss intellectual topics, acknowledge and validate thoughts and feelings, and create a balanced power dynamic. Inject personal anecdotes, use active listening techniques, bring up thought-provoking topics, and summarize and clarify main points.